Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the podcast of Mundo Talkshow. As we got two interesting guests, respectively, out of their own e-feds, such as mine. I am the owner of Titan Nation Alliance, of course, as well as the two that's going to be introducing themselves here on this podcast for episode 1. And the first one and the second one here I brought on this podcast is going to be shocking, as we start with over to my left introduction. You may have the floor.
Hello, everyone. This is Devin Chaotic, owner of Chaotic Extreme Federation. Thank you for the introduction, and let's get this on the road.
Now we introduce
I am the man of the hour, the myth, the legend, the FAM original, the SBR original, Ray Nakai, aka Shadow X-Ray, the owner of Moonlight Pro Wrestling.
Now we get this show on the road here, guys, and we talk about, the call community. I want to bring this up here because there's a lot of people that I feel like that is missing out, and I'm not talking about the negativity, I'm talking about the positive sides. So, when we talk about the core and the purpose and the vision for each individual that, has call or, wants to be a part of the call business, or that sees, our three of our shows, what would be the thing that you would tell them and try to persuade them to be a part of call? What would be the solely positive purpose on bringing people together? And I'm going to let DJ start it, and then Ray, the owner of MPW. So DJ, you got the floor first.
So the thing that I would like to say, that I would like to bring people into this call community, is a positive, safe environment for everyone to enjoy themselves and have fun, but yet feel like you are a part of the action. Not feel like you are being disrespected by those that are hindering you from achieving your best.
All right.
My
we got
show-
DJ's response. We're going to go with Ray's.
My show basically is AI, PvP, highlight reel. I want to basically build a community that's not toxic, people that don't start freaking drama, and people that want to be here and not power hungry for power and stuff. And I basically want to build something special. I'm working with
Here's the
Jason.
question I'm going to ask you guys here. We're going to start off with question 1. What first drew you into the eFed wrestling call community? Me personally, I'm going to start it off, and then we're going to have Ray and then DJ on this. What drew me to the call community was the lifestyle of actually getting to see what the real wrestlers go through. Even though you don't taking the real life bumps and the pain, but just bringing that character to life. That's, a lot of creativity. I feel like that a lot of people, to me, watches people's shows and they basically steal creativity away. That's why some people like us cannot be successful, because if people, can't come up with their own ideals and wants to use other people's ideals and agendas for their own ideology, which wasn't theirs to begin with. So I'm just going to say that here on that question. So I'm going to pretty much turn it over to Ray to answer what first drew him into the eFed wrestling community. Ray? You got the full floor.
Well, the drew me in the EFED community. That I gotta, because I'm from the S always, so it was a lot different. Back then. Um, what drew me into doing the claw was letting my creativity spark. Let me do what I want to do is basically show my character and create my own wrestler and dream of have a dream that I know I will be a real wrestler and stuff. But the claw wouldn't like him to do that.
All right. Since Ray answered that, we're gonna go take it down to DJ now. What first drew you into the EFED wrestling call community, DJ?
Here's the ultimate thing that drew me in. It was the excitement. It was the atmosphere that led me into this. That seeing the people involved, seeing the inspiration these people brought to the table, seeing how the shows was creatively brought together, and ultimately the admiration that these people show. It's not too many people that you see that elevates themselves into this industry and be a huge lifestyle factor for themselves to get away from the atmosphere that they're living in now.
Okay, there's questions here that I'm going to go with that I'm pretty much it's a deeper dive in opinions here. So when we make a call and we set our designs, so the question that I'm asking here is simple: what's the most overrated trend in current EFED call designs? And to me, the most overrated thing anybody could do, and especially creating a crawl, is doing it the generic way, which means you don't take your time. You just put a regular attire on. You just don't really. The wrestler don't really get enough eye attraction because they don't have an attire that's going to get people to actually watch. That's just me, but I'm going to turn this question over to DJ and then back to Ray on this. And the question is, DJ, what is the most overall rated trend in current call EFED designs for a created wrestler?
Here's my thing on that. And this is the ultimate factor that drew me to the creation factor. The presentation you bring to your call. Not just moveset wise, not just entrance, not just your attire, but the overall presentation you can be as a creative person. And I'm saying that because you don't see too much creativity in the call community. Everybody wants to fight your style once they see your calls. Like, case in point, CJ may not be different from me, I may not be different from Ray, but you have that one individual that sees your call and then want to bite your inspiration. Doesn't have originality for themselves.
Yeah. The thing that I think is overrated, generic freaking face, not even a face picture. I hate it when people basically don't put any face texture on their claw. They don't take time to morph the face. They don't even take time to put logos on the. And I say that's lazy. That's why I don't let people come into my bed. They basically are going to have a generic look claw. I basically, um, you got to be unique. You can't be the norm. Simple as that.
And here's the thing that I'm just going to say here. Ray brought a good point about this. And, the problem with the EFED community, I'm just going to acknowledge the issue here. You're on the spot of the ideal. Theft is a real frustration in the call EFED scene. Creators put hours into gimmicks, attires, entrance movesets, storylines, and promos, only for copycats to swap them without credit.
Yep.
So, basically, it's just basically plagiarism is what they would call it. And it's basically, the point that really gets me is this. Like, for example, that'd be like me going to Kevin Impact and stealing one of his attires from Kevin Impact. How do you think that's going to make Kevin Impact feel? First of all, knowing that somebody's watching his show and pretty much they stealing the ideals. That's the thing about people when they go into the show, they need to actually learn that whatever is not your creativity, you don't need to take it. You just need to actually have a heart, let people succeed in what they are doing, and worry about your own show and quit worrying about, causing drama, causing conflicts, causing all this stupid stuff that really, in reality, does not need to be in call EFED in general. I'm just going to state that out here.
I'm going to feed off of your one thing.
So,
that is a crucial factor of what you just said, CJ.
Well, here's the thing, too. It hurts the community in these three different topics. I talked about drama. It views drama. It leads to feuds, bans, or feds collapsing. It's stifles grow, echo chambers of copies instead of fresh ideals, and it demotivates creators.
Mm-hmm.
That's the three major things why it hurts the community. And
big facts.
I'm just speaking facts. I'm not trying to point out where it needs to be, but like if you're going to be in the call community, you need to come up with your own ideals and quit stealing. I made an example. That'd be like me stealing off of J Kid, and I know J Kid would pretty much roast me to like a Thanksgiving turkey. Maybe it'd be a Christmas turkey. It'd be a Christmas turkey. I'd be that fat little turkey in the oven, cooked and roasted and seasoned.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I would say too. Quit trying to bite match styles that EFED built themselves on.
Right.
I can see if it's inspiration to bring that match to the table, but it's another thing if you take it and run with it to your own brand.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll say is a cardinal no-no. We all have our originality for matches. We can feed off of those, but we're not biting those in our own way.
Mm-hmm.
And, it goes back to a lot of things. If you can't really come up with the ideal on your own, I mean, in all technicality, why are you using somebody else's ideals when pretty much you're basically what we call a copycat?
Yep.
You're basically trying to steal something from other things. So it's kind of funny how Jim Cornette says these things in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and one of them I'm going to share with you. And I think one of his recent topics was, talking about WWE and their bookings lately. He says that you could put WWE in a flea market and the vendor would pay them to leave. And that's pretty bad when a vendor pays you to leave.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm saying is we could actually put Jim Cornette on here and we could talk about how the EFEC community is, and he pretty much would roast some of you creators that don't have originality until you either one, shut your company down, or two, get butthurt like you guys are doing. I mean, I'm just pointing out the facts. But the main thing is, being in the call community, you don't take stuff that's not yours. That's one
Big
thing.
fact.
That's one thing that I learned. You don't take something that don't belong to you. And I feel like there's a lot of people that, when they see this on Spotify or, YouTube, they're going to get pissed and they're going to try to do their little childish bullshit agendas like they always do. But, it's like my mom always used to tell me, if the shoe fits, wear it. So that's the only thing I'm going to say on that. As far as that topic goes, I'm going to go back to another questions here because we're almost getting close to ending this. So here's a deeper debate of questions here, and I know the chat is probably going to be flooded with them also in the comments, as well as my Spotify, of course. And I think this is actually a good debate question, and once I tell DJ and Ray this, I think they will understand and probably agree with me too. But the question is this: is the call community too generous with CC sharing enabling fees? So in other words, when you post your stuff up on CCs, you kind of make it vulnerable for a call thief or somebody that's not using the originality to steal that and try to use it for their own agendas because they pretty much don't have the ideal or the brainstorming like you used to. And there's a lot of people that does. I'm not saying no names, but I'm just pointing out the blanks here. It's just one of those things that, the call community is just like, it's kind of like going, I know you probably saw this, depending on where you live, but it's like, these stores, for example. That'd be like a thief going back into the store.
Yep.
And people already knows, he or she's a robber, and he's going back doing the same thing, just stealing. Once a thief, always a thief, right? That's the old saying.
Yep.
Same thing with call. When you steal somebody's, ideology or creative thing, you're basically a thief. You're stealing something that should not been yours in the first place, and should have been credited. Now, going back to the credit part, should be credited to the original creator who came up with that ideal, but also at the same time, if you was wanting to use that ideal, maybe instead of going on CCs and downloading it, maybe you need to go to that person face to face and ask them if you could do that. That's how you settle a lot of things that will kill a lot of drama. But no, you don't want to do that. You want to go ahead and steal people's stuff because you ain't got the God-given talent to think about the actions that was done. That's the only thing I'm saying here. But I'll let Ray get on his topic about that. I said enough already. And then after Ray answer his, we're going to ask DJ the same question like we did previously.
Yeah,
Um,
I've
is
seen
the call
tapes.
community too generous with CC sharing
Yeah,
enabling
they are.
thieves?
Yeah, they definitely are. I barely put my stuff on the PC because I don't want people stealing my. That's why I don't really put my characters on the CC that much. And like Evie, she doesn't really put her face skin on her character because they steal her face skin and stuff. I'm gonna do that with Alexa now. I don't want them stealing Alexa's face skin.
So what do you think, DJ? Same question I asked Ray.
Here's my thing.
Is the call community too generous with the CC sharing enabling thieves?
I totally agree with that 100%. Due to the fact that you can upload your call, put in the work, had the creativity, you put in all that hard effort into it, only for it to be stuck up on CC, even if you delete it. There are people out here that are savages enough to take your call and put it and envision it in their own way, which
Yep.
is bad on the creators because the logos you took your time to build is in somebody else's possession, and that's bad.
Yep.
Like you could build an arena that you put your hard-earned work into, ultimately for that arena to be switched around under somebody else's leadership, and they take your hard-earned work.
So here's the thing I'm going to ask you too, DJ, and I'm going to ask Ray the same thing, and you guys take turns answering this. When it comes down to the call community, this deeper debate here I'm trying to ask is simple. Should plagiarism enforcement be banned or watermarked in the call community, far as our creative designs and everybody else's creative designs, to keep us safe from thieves that want to take it for their creative ideology when they don't have no creative ideology or thinking process behind it.
Literally, I'll say that if we watermark our stuff, the creators who download this should know that this is our hard-earned work. Nobody should take our work for granted because everybody wants to be unoriginal in the call community.
Yeah.
And that unoriginality hurts the creator who built it themselves. And that's bad on creators who put the effort into it.
Yeah. Basically, creators that put the effort into this, and basically, people just basically, sometimes people say, "Oh, your creation trash" and stuff. There's that too. You put your hard work in, and basically, this is your creation.
There's a thing that I'm going to say. There's another question I'm going to add on to this as well. I know that, we all have passion, but, when it comes down to these thieves, is it really passion to them or is it really poison? Because, they say that they want to be in the call community for the passion, but when their true identities and colors shown, to me, it's the poison that kills the community. Now, I don't know about how you guys feel. I'll let you guys have your intake on it. And whoever wants the first floor can, but that's what I think about it. I don't know if you guys, have the same agreement, but I'll let whoever wants to have the first floor on that.
Yeah.
Here's what I say on it. It is corruption at its lowest form to take ideas that a creator did and ultimately use it for your own personal gain. There are too many creators out here now trying to bite the scale off the hard work of us who had the vision, who took the time to build the load, and ultimately see our work on their end is plagiarism not only on the owner, but you as a creator not having the vision to build your own work.
You know, going back to plagiarism, I don't mean to interrupt you here,
Yep.
but really and truly, when it, you know, the question I asked earlier about banned or watermark, I really think whoever steals somebody's creativity should be banned off of CCs.
Yeah.
That should be
I
the thing that
ultimately
they
agree with
do.
that 100%.
I mean, you know, people needs to come up with their own ideals and quit stealing people's things. You know, that's just me. That's just my, you know, thinking. But you know, back to Ray with the passion or poison, with the creators as well as the watermark or band. Um, I know that some of the thieves, you know, when they join the feds, they say it's passion, but to me, it's poison. And going back to what I said about the ban or watermark, what do you think, Ray? What is your thoughts behind this?
I think it's power hungry too. I think they're power hungry. A lot of people that join the feds, they're power hungry. They care about one thing: championships. That's all they care about. They don't care about storytelling. Pretty much a lot of stuff that the feds basically put into it, and um, it's greed. Like them
And
stealing.
there's one simple thing that I cannot stand about the car community, and I know that y'all would agree with me on this. The corruption of owners
Mm-hmm.
who try to manipulate their roster to be exclusive to them only. I hate the fact that you have these corrupt politic e-fed owners who want to hold their roster hostage from people that are trying to be creative.
Now, going back to, you know, the plagiarism, I think that, you know, first of
Also,
all,
stealing people from other feds too, without
here's what I
asking.
think. Here's what I think about the plagiarism behind this, and you and Ray probably can agree with me on this.
Yep.
I think it's a creativity killer.
Yep.
And the reason why I say that is because, you know, there's a lot of people like Kevin Impact, Ray, myself, DJ. We put a lot of work in, you know, making the shows what we can do. You know, not everybody's going to get, you know, 100 views to 300 views to 400. You know, everybody's got their different product. And the thing I'm saying is it ain't right for people to steal creativity away, especially if they are going to pull this hatred and, you know, he said, she said bullshit comments, and don't really have the proof of anything. They just want to believe people's words instead of actual proof. That's what kills a lot of, you know, e-fed companies, because they want to play this game of, oh, let's blame this person so we can get him kicked out. You know, when you ask them for the proof, it's like, oh, you know, we don't have the proof, or, you know, we lost it, or, you know, that's what really gets to me. Like, you know, I'm just going to say this as one word of advice here. If you can't prove that that person said it or that person did it, then why the hell are you blaming somebody because, one, you don't like them, two, you don't like their creativity, or you don't like the way that they are better than you, that you have to lower your standards to what I call a creativity killer thief? I mean, just be honest, and, you know, I mean, it's just simple. And, you know, going back to this, you know, ending this little segment of the podcast here, I think really and honestly here that we need to have like a one global unit for people that steals and just don't have any creativity whatsoever. And here's the reason why that I say this. When we stand up against people that don't have the creativity and wants to blame others for their bullshit and not actually have actual proof, then it becomes a problem when you are being a call owner and a call creator and a call, you know, and an EFED owner. It really becomes a problem when you try to blame somebody else, but, you know, old saying goes, you know, my mom always taught me is when you point your finger, the thumb's always pointing back at you, so it's a two-way street. So the only thing I'm going to say here is this. I think, you know, the plagiarism, people that wants to steal creativity, they should be automatic banned from the CCs. That's what I personally think.
I agree with that, and also there should be a
Everybody
huge
else,
blacklist
well, here's the thing.
for
Everybody
those
else
that
may have their
steal
different opinions.
plagiarism.
Everybody else may have their different opinions, but that's just what I think. And I'm glad that, you know, you agree with me, DJ. And here's the thing that really gets to me with the whole thing. It also can basically, here's an example that I'm going to put it. I call it a copyright kill shot. So let's say if one of the EFED owners EFED owners that owns a wrestling company, let's say that they decide to do something that WWE did, right? So the only thing WWE they have to do is sue over likeness. They could basically sue us over the originality, and then pretty much our company gets shut down, the video game world gets shut down because 2K could, you know, reverse the decision saying, hey, let's not have no more universe mode, let's make it hard for call creators. And in all reality, it's technically going to be the people's fault that's plagiarism because they the ones that's going to kill the call community out. It's not going to be us. I mean, I'm just putting my foot down and saying
basically like real and stuff. You don't use the universe mode. We're gonna be just fine.
the only thing I'm going to say here is this before I close this podcast out is if you can't come up with the ideal and you have to steal others, just stop that shit. Like, it's making yourself look bad, and it's also pretty much destroying your creative processes as an owner that pretty much nobody's going to work with you because, one, you're trying to steal off of another person, and two, you're holding vendettas and grudges and hatred over something that's pretty much stupid. Like, I'm just going to call it out like I see it. You know, it's 2025, about ready to go to 2026. We need to kill negativity with the knife. Pretty much. And that's what the Kentucky Gamer YouTube channel is all about, and as well as my Spotify account that I have. It's about positive. So, I mean, if you can't be positive, then why are you here? That's the only thing I'm going to say. As we close this out, you know, give a shout out to MPW owner Ray Nakia, Moonlight Pro Wrestling, as well as DJ Chaotic, the owner of Chaotic Wrestling Federation, and as well as myself, the Titan Nation Alliance owner CJ Mundo. And we will probably see you on the next episodes to come down the road. But until then, we will see you guys on the next one.